You don't become legendary by accident. You don't become the greatest you by accident. You don't become that person you were created to be by accident. You become that person by being intentional. By saying, you know what, this is what I'm going to get out of this year. Right now, you should be saying, this is what I'm going to get out of this moment. This is your life. You have to figure it out. You have to figure out what's best for you. But I will tell you this, a made-up mind. Most people have made up their mind that, you know what, it's done. Most people say, oh, my plans didn't go the way they're supposed to go, so I'm just going to take it. But not you. You're going to make up your mind that you're going to be that 1%. At some time or another, have agonized over making a decision. Some decisions are major decisions. And also there are a lot of small decisions that we don't make, that they tax our minds, they drain our energy. They create a lot of anxiety and nervousness and mental torment because we don't take care of it. We decide not to decide, which is a decision. Deciding to decide to act is a major, major challenge for all of us. And there are things that happen to us along the way, experiences that we have that prevent us from working through the mental block of acting, of doing those things that we know we ought to do. If you don't have what you want, stop telling yourself the story because you don't have the money over time. That's bullshit. It's because you haven't committed yourself or you would burn your boats. If you want to take the fucking island, burn your fucking boats and you will take the island because people, when they're ready to die or succeed, tend to succeed. Fight through the pain and come out the other side stronger and tougher and better and free from that storm, free from the darkness. If you just do what you want right now all the time, one of the problems with that is you're going to get yourself in trouble. People are self-conscious and can see the future. We have to bind our actions in the present in relationship to our future selves. You have to act now so you don't hurt you tomorrow and you next week and you next month and you in a year and 5 years and 10 years. And that's actually a community of potential selves that extends across time. You sacrifice the whims of the moment. So that's delayed gratification and maybe a definition of maturity. You sacrifice that because it's a better medium to long-term contract or covenant with yourself. Validation. Validation is the need to have someone tell you that you're good. In fact, you want somebody to tell you you're great. It's not about them. They cannot be the voice that echoes and determines whether or not your gift, your talents, your abilities are worthwhile. You've got to be able to look in the mirror and know that you've given your all. All you want to do in life is end up empty. Every talent that has been given in you, everything that was given to you as a seed inside of that little body of yours at birth, grows into the trees that have deep roots that go outside of you and into the lives of others, so that you become everything you were supposed to be, and they see everything that you're supposed to produce. Wherever you are right now, you're exactly where you need to be. And I must say that because one of the major reasons why you do not have what you want in your life is that you invalidate wherever you are. You are so quick to trash yourself. You're so quick to go, this isn't happening fast enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm behind. I'm overwhelmed. That trash talk is what keeps you from moving forward. So you got to start telling yourself every day, you're exactly where you need to be. What is there that you know you need to do, that you want to do this, but for some reason or another, you've been holding back. For some reason or another, you just have not been able to gather your nerves or be able to work through the procrastinating or putting it off or justifying or blaming. Some reason or another, you just haven't done it. And you know you want to do this, you really want to do this, but you don't know why you haven't done it. Because in order to begin to reinvent your life, you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort. If you wake up in the morning, you start having negative thoughts. Man, this ain't my day. I woke up all rolled, silent bed, and I just don't feel myself. In the middle of the day, if you feel yourself doing that, just stop for a second and start going over in your mind everything you have to be grateful for, everything you already have, because what you have is substantial. You just haven't gone over the list and taken inventory in a long time. But the fact that you can walk, that's a blessing. The fact that you woke up, that's another blessing. The fact that you can see, think, reason, that's another blessing. The ability to dream is a blessing. The fact that you have an opportunity to get it right is another blessing. The fact that you have any measure of health, that's another blessing. Because people who make things happen, people who are legendary like yourself, people who take it to the next level, people, as I like to say, are rare breeds that are rare. They don't depend on motivation to move, because they know they will never move if they depend on motivation. They will never create if they depend on motivation. They will never change if they depend on motivation. What they do, they move to create their motivation. Most people move until once they're motivated. For rare breed people, they create their movement to create the motivation. So I'm here to tell you that it will take longer. It will be more difficult. It will require more effort on your part. Well, you know what I can tell you about that? When you do the hard things, you will have a happy and easy life. But if you constantly choose to take the path of easy and negotiate and compromise, you will have a hard life that ends with regret. You see, everyone has to go through something, but it's the something you go through that also must go through you. When it does, you'll come out of this thing pure gold. And the only way you can get pure gold is to go through the fire. Stop asking God why and embrace it and say, what's next? Most people wonder why they don't get the opportunity. Coach, why won't you put me in the game? Why won't you give me an opportunity? The reason why is because the word give. No one is going to give it to you. Whatever it is you want in life, you have to desire it more than you want anything. You gotta believe that it's your birthright. You gotta be hungry. You gotta look at everyone as competition and welcome it and embrace the fact that you must fight for it. If it's given to you, you will think of it as some kind of entitlement. But if you battle for it, it's a victory. It's earned. Because in the absence of purpose, fulfillment, significance, we kind of feel like every day is Groundhog Day. Every day is a day where, I'm not really moving forward. I don't have a sense of purpose, because it's like low undertone of anxiety and depression and overwhelm. And you just feel like you don't really matter. And that is not the best way to live as a human, man. I'm telling you that right now. Like, we are put on this planet. You are put on this planet to do something big, to do something great, to impact lives, to be an agent of change. How does a man win at life over and over again when another man continues to struggle and just has these failures to lunge? Well, it's simple. It's the athlete mindset versus the spectator mindset. Begin. This is where it begins. In the darkness, before the sun and the birds and the world every day. When the alarm sounds, it's time. Rise. Despite fatigue and soreness, curse the warmth of the bed. Curse the comfort of the pillow. Fight the temptation of weakness. Get up and go. Do it quickly, without thought. Do not reason with weakness. You cannot. We must only take action. Get up, then go. And then the one shows up. The one. What person shades the family tree forever? In my family, I'm the what. And it wasn't because I wanted it or I hoped for it. I fought for it. I want to win. I want to fight for my family. I want my mom and dad proud of me. I want my kids proud of me. I want me proud of me. I want to look in the mirror and be happy with the man I look back at, that he gave it everything, that he wept for it. Extraordinary accomplishments come from doing ordinary things for extraordinary periods of time. Working out and doing reps is not extraordinary. It's the fact that you do it for 20 straight years. Nothing about that is extraordinary. It's the dedication to doing it over and over and over and over again, despite feeling like there's better opportunities, despite people approaching you with new and exciting things, but saying that you're committed to the original vision you had, and that, not the action itself, but your commitment to the action is what makes someone extraordinary, not the thing itself. And to me, that made being extraordinary possible. At some point, you're going to have the courage. At some point, you're going to have the confidence. And it's total bullshit. And so there are so many people in the world, and you know, you may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true. Because the way that our minds are wired, and the fact about human beings, is that we are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable or scary or difficult. Our brains are designed to protect us from those things because our brains are trying to keep us alive. And in order to change, in order to build a business, in order to be the best parent, the best spouse, to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary. Decision-making is the force that shapes destiny. So how many people think it isn't the decisions that you made years ago? What were your decisions 5, 10, 15 years ago? That decision, you may not realize it at the time, but that decision was one of the most important decisions of your life. You've made a different decision there. If you've gone a different direction in your life, it'd be completely different to that. You've got to decide in this life whether you want to be entitled or you want to earn. If it's entitlement you're looking for, you'll never be remembered in history. You'll be the person that could have been, should have been, and could have been if somebody had given you. But you don't have a right to be given anything. Earn it, take control of your life, take dominion. I don't care how good you are, you don't have differently, you ain't nobody. The reason most people fail is because they give up what they want most for what they want now. If you're going through a really hard time, the dark days eventually pass and clear away, and the sun comes back. And so whatever you're going through, know that this is temporary and that soon the sun is going to come out again. There's a time to be born, and there's a time to die. So I want you to know you're going to die, and there's nothing you could do about it. But what I would hope that you would do is I hope you would live. You gotta say, no matter how hard it may be, no matter how impossible it may seem, no matter how much this year sucks, I'm still going to get the greatest me out of this. I'm still going to step up to the plate. And some of you right now are thinking tomorrow. You heard any people said tomorrow took their talents to the grave? And I say that the reason that we don't even explore the possibility of what to do is because subconsciously we don't believe that it can happen for us, and we don't believe that we deserve it. So here's what I'm suggesting. How much time do you spend working on you? How much time do you spend every day working on your dream? There is work that must be done beyond what people see. People see your check, they see the car you drive, they see the house you own. But what they don't see is when you're staying up and putting in 16 hours of work now so that you can relax and enjoy it later. You see, hard work is how you get in it. And anything you get without hard work has no value. No matter what you face, no matter how bad it is going to be, when there is a challenge, and by a challenge I mean anything in life, any challenge, anything that you're facing, the only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking. Do you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? Right? Like courage, do you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? And so anytime you gotta be courageous, let's look at it from the standpoint of dreams, goals, and aspirations. You got your dream, your goal, and your aspiration, and then you got reality. And oftentimes reality doesn't reflect the goal, the dream, and the aspiration. And so when you think courage, like being courageous in following your heart because it somehow knows what you want to do, it's almost like when you feel something that you should do. And for some strange reason, like your mind or your spirit tells you, now I don't want to do it because it takes you outside of your comfort zone, but you know you should do it, you can feel it, and then you go against it. Happiness as an aim is shallow and weak. It cannot withstand suffering. Obviously, because when you're suffering, you're not happy. And if the purpose of life is to be happy, then when you're suffering, your life has no meaning. And first of all, don't aim at being happy because that's just not gonna work, especially when the storms come, and forget about that. And there's gonna be times in your life where you're suffering so much you can't believe it. And so you're gonna need something a hell of a lot more robust than happiness to get you through that. And then you might say, well, what's more robust than happiness? Or maybe even what's more robust than pain? How about adventure? How about we go out and sail the uncharted seas? The first way to give focus is to find purpose. The way to find purpose is you must identify what it is that you have to be purposeful in. When you are struggling with what to do, who you are, what's your next move, you are in an identity crisis. You are struggling with just who you are. See, you have not discovered who you are. It's gonna happen. We can delay it, yeah, right? When we don't want to be courageous, when we don't want to encounter that level of faith that we know we need along our journey for our goals, dreams, and aspirations, you can delay it. But courage, that's a different ball game. That's pressing forward in the face of opposition, adversity, uncertainty. Different ball game. But the question remains, do you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? That's the essence of courage to me. Turn the page. And just because you have some bad chapters doesn't mean your story can't end well. Turn the page. What is your wake-up call? What is enslaving you? What is controlling your thoughts? Is it the television set? Feeding your mind images of what life should be? Is it the internet drawing you in and controlling your time? Or is it weakness? A lack of discipline that prevents you from accomplishing what you want to accomplish? It's important for lost young people, male and female alike, to develop a vision and take on some responsibility and understand that they have a vital role to play in the world, that the lack of their best hurts everything. And I think that's true. And the sad thing is that there's very many people who have not heard an encouraging word in their life. And it takes so little to encourage them that it's rather tragic. You have to discover who you are in order to move you forward. If no one ever gave you the directions, when you get up and you get up in the morning, you go get in the car or you walk out your door, you have a destination in mind. If you go outside with no destination, what do? You wander around. Once you don't have a destination, you are going to wander around. You cannot get in your car without a destination. What do you drive? So you are in an identity crisis. Because when you think about true courage, I look at it as a person being who they authentically or made to be. In every avenue and every aspect of their life, when they walk out of their door in the morning, they are who they're supposed to be. It takes courage to be that. I'm not saying that there aren't things in life that we just have to do. There are. But what I am saying is ask questions. And don't believe everything that you're told, and don't follow the path just because it's there. Don't get in line just because other people are. Those times where you get up early and you work hard, those times where you stay up late and you work hard, those times where you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. Here's what you should know about winning before you chase it. Winning's not loyal to you. It doesn't care about you. Winning doesn't care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. Winning doesn't care how hard you work at times. Winning requires all of you and then more, and it promises you nothing. It's a mastermind of creative fear and doubt in your mind. It causes setback after setback. So the question is about winning. Are you willing to sprint when the distances are no? And why chase this thing called winning? Because the only thing that's guaranteed in life, if you don't chase it, is losing. You have only one life, so don't waste it being controlled by someone else. Sharpen your sword. And by that, I mean your body, your mind, your spirit. They go out into the world and slay those dragons. The distrust that we carry with us about things that happen externally to us during our development, during our youth, during our moments of vulnerability. We have to be willing to let go of it so that we can grow through it. We have to be willing to let go so that we can become. But a lot of us, what we do is we live our life on repeat. We spend time living our life on repeat. We spend time in the same mess. We spend time in the same situation. We spend time in the same stress. And we spend our life like that. Right? We want change, we want to do better, we want all these things. But we continue to spend time on things that move us further away from it. Evil does exist. And it's out there. It's a mob. It is a frenzy. It is pent-up frustration and anger. It is jealousy, and it is envy, and it is resentment, and it is out there. And it is also in all of us. And it is up to all of us to fight it. You can only have two things in life: reasons or results. Notice, reasons don't count. Folks will always point out reasons on why they are not living their dream, on why they are not manifesting their greatness. They will always be able to point those things out, but none of those things count. The only thing that counts are results. And results don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. They tell it all. Judge a tree by the fruit that it bears, not the ones that it might talk about, not the ones that it might wish for, or think about, or affirm about, but the fruit that it actually bears. Because the truth is, and most people don't want to hear this, but it's the truth, ain't nothing gonna change until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Ain't nothing gonna change until you say, you know what? Am I repeating this another day in my life? Am I going to be the same person I was yesterday? Life is not perfect. And it isn't going to be easy, but it is all you've got. So make it a good run. And make sure you enjoy the jam. And you do that by getting out there every day and getting after it. I don't think that as a participant in life, you cannot be committed. You either committed to mediocrity or you're committed to greatness. You either committed to being productive or you are committed to being non-productive. You're committed to being happy or you're committed to being unhappy. See, whatever you're doing, however you spend your time, that tells you who you are. Have to be willing to let go of the thing that wants to hold you prisoner. Most of us have stayed in the jail cell of a mental prison long beyond the years of our sentence. Because our thing is, we have only known pain. And we have feared that pleasure will never be something you can possess. But your fear must come in conflict with your faith. Your faith is that you can become more because you have deserved better, and that the thing that came against you is not greater than the thing that is inside of you. Don't give up. Don't let the world get you down. When it does get you down, get up and write what you want out of your life and go get stop. You know what I'm saying? You get up every fucking day, you look in the mirror, you tell that mirror, I'm a bad motherfucker. How to turn nothing into something. First, to turn nothing into something, you start with ideas and imagination. Things change, things happen, people get sick, people get hurt, we lose our jobs, we lose our loved ones. Anything and everything can change, either one day or when it does. Don't get caught back on your heels. Instead, go forward. Go on the attack. And continue to fight. I'm gonna take ownership over my freaking life, and I'm gonna stop living like that. Because the truth of the matter is, a lot of us, we living like we got time, man. You don't have time. Stop living like that. You don't have time. You can't stop time. The sun is going to keep rising. It's going to keep rising. The moon's going to keep coming up. It's going to keep rising over and over and over again. I realize that the things that you experience in life are making you bigger and better and stronger and faster and wiser. So you become something by dealing with the thing that tried to destroy you. It is not about holding on. It's about letting go, so that it can grow. It's an interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen, that when we put ourselves in a situation where we say we're going to do it, it puts you in another zone where the universe responds to you. When you have that kind of consciousness, see, the universe responds to the man or woman that refuses to be denied. Because that is your commitment. It isn't going to knock on your door. You have to kick that door in. You have to make things happen. You have to initiate action. And you do that by going out there every day and getting after it. Apparently, the stress and the worries and the fear, it arises somewhere. And that somewhere is individually always inside oneself. And this is that paradox part sometimes about this world, that you know when you are sad, the sadness sits inside of you. When you worry about something, it's your worry. You worry. But nevertheless, we try to fix this issue. We try to look for the solution. Yeah, not inside of you. You try to find it out there. If you are completely obsessed and totally focused, if you're taking massive action and getting better and better at executing, there's only one more thing you need to get whatever you want, and that's grace. Some call it luck, some call it grace, and might call it God. But there's no question in my life that grace is there. It's those things that show up that to guide you when you've done the first two steps and your intent is something larger than just yourself. And so as you begin to look at where you want to go, beginning to embrace that, it's possible. I'm blessed and highly favored. I've got a lot going for me. I got some good stuff in me. And it's possible that I can bring my greatness out here in the universe. And I can do what I want to do. It's possible I can write my own book. I can have my own business. I can take the trip and travel around the world. It's possible. I can bounce back from adversity and reinvent my life. It's possible. Regardless of where I am, the things can get better for me. It's possible. What you say to yourself matters. And we understand that from a common sense perspective. But somewhere along the line, we have all stopped saying, "You're gonna make it. You got this." And we've started saying, "You're a piece of shit. You're not good enough. Why even bother?" And when you start your day by saying, "I look terrible. I screwed up again yesterday. I hate my life," that's not going to motivate you to change it. And so your sense of feeling like the effort is worth it begins and ends with how encouraging, supportive, and kind you are to yourself. We're hypnotized or conditioned into believing we need a reason for gratitude or joy. And until I get that, I'm this. If you have the thought of your future and you feel the lack that it's not there, then you're back to the victim, right? But if you can have the thought, and the thought actually produces, just like fear, the thought of something terrible happening in your life creates the feeling of fear. The thought of something wonderful in your life creating the feeling of gratitude. Then when you think about your future, you begin to emotionally condition your body into that future. Now here's the payoff. Thoughts are the electrical charge in the quantum field, and feelings are the magnetic charge in the quantum field. And how you think and how you feel broadcasts information and energy into the field. The question is, what are you broadcasting every single day? People are so not present. They're not communicating clearly. They're making mistakes. They're not pursuing mastery. It's costing so much energy. It's like they will tell you, like, I'm not paid enough, I'm not getting a lot from the world, I'm not very successful, no one applauds me, I don't have a nice home, I don't have a nice whatever. But they're not looking in the mirror, and I call it APR, absolute personal responsibility. Stop lying to yourself. Take a good hard look at your mindset, heart set, house set, and soul set. You're creating it. And that is what the law of thinking is. When you learn how it works, miracles happen. What you think and what you believe, it's what will come true for you. Your thoughts create your life. It's that simple. And when we can get that, we can make enormous changes. You see, you are what you are and where you are because of what's gone into your mind. You can change what you are, you can change where you are by changing what goes into your mind. 98% of the people in our Western civilization have a picture of themselves which is so narrow and so shallow that it literally bears no resemblance to the real person who is there. So many people have been told so many times what they cannot do that they have no idea what they can do. They have no idea what they want in life because they have no idea of what is available to them. The picture they have of themselves will not permit themselves to see some of the magnificent things that are available. I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. The fire of motivation, the fire of trying to achieve something for a better version of yourself, is something that if you practice it long enough, you can recall it. Because you have that fire inside of you. Strong mind goes together with strong body. I think there is a similarity with it, because you cannot reach to have a strong body if there is not the fuel behind it that gave you the push, the motivation to do so in order that you finally develop in that direction. If you're struggling right now and you're having a hard time and you're pissed off and you're frustrated, know two things. One, you're not alone. Two, this is necessary for you to get where you want to go. And if you quit, if you falter, if you stop, all the pain will be for nothing. And you need to remember that. When it feels scary to jump in, that is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life, and that I can't do. What do you do when you don't have people to turn to? What do you do when you don't have the support system you once had? What do you do when you feel like you're less of a person because of the struggle you're in, and if you told people they would look at you oddly? What do you do when your pride is at stake? What you do is you stop living on pride and you start digging inside. Start to believe that the same way you got in this hole, there's a path out of it. The work it took, the things that happened that brought you to this situation are not greater than the skill set that is within you. What is you have in your hand? If you dug yourself into a hole, you still have your hands. Put your hands to work, put your faith to work, put your heart into. The same way you dug your way into the hole, you can take that same path out of the hole. Which is, use what you have. And a lot more people have pain, a lot more people have anger, a lot more people have shame. And if you can use that as your dash in the beginning, you'll eventually get to a point where you can get out of that loop and then find something that you are really passionate about. But if you can't tie your shoes, you can't lift the weight, you can't send a DM, then you have to start with whatever you have. You worry about something that someone did to you years ago. You're being to yourself, man, not getting out there and squeezing depth and soul out every day. I got time about you, man, because tomorrow I gotta go back to the grind. And tomorrow I go back to the grind again and again and again and again. I don't have time to put you into the hate bank. There's no hate, it's all filtered out, man, to the grind. If there is something that you can to 100% adjust and control in this life, it can only be yourself. If there's something which is 100% in your control, it must be yourself. What else should it be? And so, if you think there is a possibility to master something, to take responsibility of something, then I think it must be related, first of all, to your being. You know how you got there. You know the situations, you know the circumstances, you know how it began to overwhelm you. Since you know that, put the knowledge to use. Stop being afraid of it. Don't create this monster that you think that you can't face. The idea of going broke, if you've been broke, you're at the bottom. If you're at the bottom, you can look up. And if you can look up, you can get up. And if you can get up, you can stay up. And if you can stay up, you can climb up. And if you can climb up, you can create a platform. And if you don't get up in the morning when you're feeling tired, scared, if you don't execute, you're not just cheating yourself, dude. You're cheating your family. You're cheating your whatever you're a part of. It's bigger than you, man. Short-term thinking says one workout doesn't matter. I can skip it. Short-term thinking encourages you to make short-term emotional decisions that hurt you in the long run. The further from the path you will stray. Decide to live your fantasy. See, in life, you can go through life, you can come up with reasons, or you can come up with results. You can come up with excuses, or you can come up with achievements. You can go through life blaming, or you can come up with solutions. The choice is in your hands, satisfaction or despair. We can choose that. Your dreams are just around the corner, but you gotta get out of the nightmare. You see, the greatest thing that you have is you. It's the tool that God gave you. There is not one person that you look up to, not one, that gets up every day and says, "This is amazing. I can't wait to do this." No matter what they tell you on social media, they still have bad days. They still have days where they want to do something else. The difference is they don't, because they're committed. You can be the person who's committed. You can be the person who says, "This is going to fucking work. No matter what happens, no matter how frustrated I get, no matter how angry I get, no matter what, I'm fucking doing this." Those are the people that are gonna win. People want to know how to stop the laziness. They want to know how to stop the procrastination. And, they have some idea in their head, some kind of a vision of what they want to do. But they don't know where to start. They don't know where to start it, They don't know where to start. And so they say, "Hey, where do I start? And when's the best time to start?" And I have a very simple answer for that. Here and now. To say you want to be great, let your actions, let your words display that. If you say you really want to be elite, let your actions and let your words display that. Right? You can't be a common man and do uncommon things. That's uncommon. That's an uncommon mentality. That's an uncommon spirit. That's an uncommon disposition. Don't ask me for mine, nor will I. Every single day, do you dominate in what you do? You got to come out your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is the deadliest place you will ever be. You should never feel comfortable. You should be happy and dissatisfied. But masters make the hardest things in the world look easiest. And in the moments where you push yourself, when no one else is around, those moments have a tendency to lead to success. As we begin to look at what we want, as we begin to look toward the future, what's going to be crucial for you is every time you find yourself saying that you can't do something, you've got to affirm to yourself, hey, no, I can make it. This can happen for me. You've got powers within you, talents within you that you haven't even reached for yet. Now, whatever goal you have, here's what we know. You're going to have some opposition. You're going to have some difficulties. You're going to have some challenges. Long journey, long dark night. Look, when you hold on to your dream, don't let anybody kill it in you. Just hold on to that tree. When it doesn't make sense to anybody, include you sometimes. Just hold on. Once you give yourself an opportunity to try and just stretch, you'll find out you can do more than you could ever begin to imagine. Why do you have goals? Is it to get the goals? You get the goal, how have you gotten the goal? And after you're cheating with, is this all there is? That's worse than failing, isn't it? Because most of you, if you fail, you're driven, right? You'll dust yourself up, get up and go for it again. You're going to get there. So I want you to understand something. The purpose of life is not to get your goals. The purpose of life is who you become to achieve your goals. Stop doing the things that you know are wrong, that you could stop doing. But we will presume that there are things that you're doing that for one reason or other you know are not in your best interests. There's something about them that you just know you should stop. They're kind of self-evident to you. Other things you're going to be doubtful about. You're not going to know which way is up and which way is down. But there are things that you're doing that you know you shouldn't do. But there's another subset that you could stop doing. It might be a little thing. Well, that's fine. Stop doing it. And see what happened. And every day you fight, not wanting to get up. And you do anyway. You chip a piece off that rock. And every day you eat the right foods. And every day you go to train. You train harder and harder and harder and harder. And you get up early. And all these things you do to start forming yourself. You're chipping another fucking piece of that rock off before you know it. Hit this beautiful fucking piece of artwork that you built. Can you be committed to the process of what you're doing without being emotionally attached to the results of what you're doing? I'm gonna ask you again, can you be committed to the process of what you're doing without being emotionally attached to the results of what you're doing? If the outcome of the result changes, will you still be the same individual? You gotta stop waiting for somebody else to give you permission to become the person you want to become. If you want to be an author, write. And as soon as you start writing, you're an author. If you want to become a musician, play music every day, and you're a musician. Nobody needs to give you permission. Your problem is you're up here thinking about it, when you need to get out of your head and just start doing it. Because the second you start doing it, you become it. Doesn't matter what you say. It matters what you do. And if I want to figure out what you believe, I don't ask you. I watch how you act. And I assume that your true beliefs are those that are directing your actions. And so truth is discovered in action. And that's a very different claim. You know, and it's not the claim of a passive observer. It's the claim of someone who's actively interacting with the world. And of course, we are always acting. We're always acting interactively with the world. And not only that, if we don't act interactively with the world, we cease to exist. Now, the true task is never forgetting it, right? Even when we become successful, even when things go really well and we hit a rough patch, the challenge is never forgetting the spirit, the feeling, the thought process of when we went through those moments of preparation, what it took to get over the hump, to get through the rough patches, and to continue to press forward, right? That's what I always say to people. Never allow life to make you forget why you do what you do. Because a cat can become so successful, they can become a victim of their own success. We all live in this bubble. What you gotta do to give the life that God wants you to have, you gotta put more air in your bubble. You got to blow your bubble up. Expand yourself. Take yourself out your comfort zone. Do not live in your bubble. Put some more air in your bubble. Whatever happened last week happened last week. Whatever happened last, she and girlfriend dumped it. You gotta get up, look at the man in the mirror and go, this is what I'm doing today, whether they like it or not. I don't give a Everybody's focusing on the stupidity things that they got on the news. Don't watch the news no more. I give you the real news. You know what the news is about today? You and how you're gonna conquer the world. How do you become a king? By taking it to the next level. By doing something outside your comfort zone. Commitment means standing up for your life. It means honoring yourself. What's always too hard is too hard. We don't challenge our spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing as powerful as the human spirit. You can't destroy it. You can pervert it, but you can't destroy it. The grave is a reminder that all of us have a limited time on earth. Long after we are gone, our families will remember us by the day we were born. What you would have been in this particular year. Things that you used to do were messages. You used to pass on memories, the experiences that they had with you. And that memory will last for a generation. But then there will be a generation that didn't know anything about you unless you do something monumental with the time you still have. Well, I think the deck is stacked against everyone to some degree because life is very difficult and we all die. But some people do have it harder than others. And all of us have it very hard at some times in our lives. It's like, well, what's the alternative? You take responsibility for that and try to struggle uphill because the alternative makes everything worse. Bitter? Should they be bitter? Should they be resentful? Should they become violent? These things don't help. They have to struggle uphill despite their excess burden. And it's responsibility, not guilt. No, it's not necessarily their fault. That's not the point. You stop dreaming. You stop believing. You stop seeking. Well, you're gonna realize that you're hurt. That's what I want to know. At some point, you let the world put shackles around your imagination. You let the world put shackles around your life to keep you in a place that you are no longer supposed to be at. You allow the world to imprison you in your past. And you think that's all that you are. You let people judge you like they perfect. I hope that you understand that every single person that you look at, every single person that you admire, every single person that you aspire to be like is literally just a regular human being like you that has worked their ass off. Your days are not just marked by the day you were born. The dash matters. In that dash, your life is so fleeting, so fast, so small, so short that you cannot simply lay aside your expectations, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. You need to pick them up. You need to chase after everything with everything you have and discover what's bitter, locked within you that needs to be released so that the rest of the world can find relief. All of us have seen our destiny at some point in time, and we decided not to listen. We decided to ignore it and say, no, that's not for me. Life came in and slapped aside the head, and we stopped dreaming anymore. Victor Thomas said, the impulse to dream has been slowly beaten out of me through the experience of life. And that's what causes many of us to give up on our volcano. The experiences and the challenges, the defeats, the disappointments, and the failures of life. Then we decide to prematurely throw in the towel on ourselves or to sell out on our true potential, sell out on living our dreams, feeling that we're not good enough, not wanting to make any mistakes, particularly if you're raised with a great deal of criticism. So you've got to be willing to prepare yourself and do the best you can, take your best shot, and let the chips fall where they may. Let their demands and their trials make you stronger. Let the adversity you face today turn you into a better person tomorrow. So in the future, you look back at these struggles, and you say to them, "Thank you. You made me better." So if you lose and you jump right back up and you haven't really changed, really changed from that loss, you're never going to learn from it, and you're never going to really, truly know the unforgiving race to greatness, because that's part of the unforgiving part, is the losing part. That part is unforgiving. There are too many talents given to you, assigned to just you. And if you could unleash them, if you could only unlock them, if you could do something with them, in that small dash of a lifespan that we have, you can change Earth. You can touch lives in ways that no one ever imagined. Because there is something about your skill set that when it connects to others, we do something amazing. There is an obligation that you have to make sure that before you get to that grave, you leave a presence on this earth. Like, what's the point of having dreams, y'all? What's the point of having dreams if they don't just stay there? If they don't stay dreams forever, you gotta get to a point where you actually live in those dreams. You gotta get to a point where those dreams turn reality for you. Those dreams become your reality. It's time for you to live it. It's time for you to breathe it. It's time for you to be it. It's time now to get more dedicated, to get less distracted, to go deeper. If you want to be great, you want to be the baddest motherfucker ever at what you do, you're going to be misunderstood by everybody, because you're going to be so fucking obsessed and so driven to get there. That's what it takes. It takes every second of your fucking life. Anybody says balance. Yeah, balance is important for a lot of fucking people. It is. But if you want to go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you can do, you've arrived. When people don't understand you anymore, you're in that spot of obsession and drive. You can think about it, you can wish for it, you can hope for it, you can think all about it all as long as you want. But unless you get out every single motherfucking day and put in the work, inch by motherfucking inch, you will never get there. Right? It's time to get more dedicated. It's time to go deeper. It's time to be less distracted. I promise you, if you do these 3 things, growth is going to happen. If you do these 3 things, you're going to go into the depth of your dreams and get those diamonds out. So all of you, let's give it. When you're balanced properly between order and novelty, that manifests itself to you as deep engagement. And that's a signal. And it's not merely cognitive, it's way deeper than that you're in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. And everyone wants that all the time. Like, images of paradise are representations of that state of being. So it's there for you, but there are preconditions that you strive to aim at the best. And that has to be your fundamental ethos. And it's a decision that, despite all of the calamities of being, that your primary ethical obligation is to work for the betterment of yourself and others. How come it's 7 billion beings in the world you felt lonely? How come you lack the sense of agency, control, authority in your life? Why are we in so much emotional pain? The loneliness, the lack of power, the lack of control, the anxiety, these are forms of emotional pain. So my mantra on addiction is not why the addiction, but why the pain. What it actually is an attempt to solve a human life problem. That of emotional pain, loneliness, distress, anxiety, whatever it is. And the real question then is, what happened in my life that we incurred pain? And then how do we deal with our pain? Because the addiction itself magnifies the pain. It multiplies it increases it exponentially. So it begins in pain, as Eckhart Tolle, the spiritual teacher, says, and they end in pain. You have to do the process. The process is non-negotiable. It's just, you have to do it. So if you have to do something, I don't have highs about it or lows about it. I know it has to get done. And if I let my emotions get involved in it, it's not going to get done to its best abilities. So if people say you got to love the process and then something comes in the process that you don't really love, well, you have to do it. You have to do it. You take emotions out of it and you do it. The process is a non-negotiable thing. The end result is not always there. That win isn't always there. You can go through the whole process and somebody went through, didn't be as meticulous as you, and they may get that win. Because winning has no loyalty to any of us. People that don't work as hard, they end up getting that win. People that aren't as qualified for the job, they end up getting that win. Do you stop the process? No, you continue to get more maniacal with the process over and over and over again. Because it's through the humanities that you make contact with the magic of your culture. And that makes you more than merely the child of your parents. Because you are more than merely the child of your parents. You're the child of nature, and you're the child of culture. And until you understand what that means, understand that you have two sets of parents, like the divine hero always has two sets of parents, you can't construe yourself properly as an individual. You're not situated properly in the world. You don't know what your responsibilities are. You can't orient your values properly, and you will suffer from that. Because life is so difficult, you have to do something that's truly worthwhile in order to justify. From time to time, you may stumble, fall. You will for sure count on this. No doubt. You will have questions, and you will have doubts about your path. But I know this, if you're willing to listen, to be guided by that still small voice that is the GPS within yourself, to find out what makes you come alive, you will be more than okay. You will be happy. You will be successful. And you will make a difference in the world. If you do what it is that you're called upon to do, which is to lift your eyes up above the mundane, daily, selfish, impulsive issues that might beset you, and attempt to enter into a contractual relationship with that which you might hold in the highest regard, whatever that might be, to aim high and to make that important above all else in your life, that fortifies you against the vicissitudes of existence like nothing else can. Truly believe that that's the most practical advice that you could possibly receive. You can't be comfortable with yourself if you don't know who yourself is. And you can't know who yourself is if you don't stop looking at how everybody around you is and start looking at what makes you comfortable, what makes you uniquely you. There's roughly close to, I guess, about 8 billion people on this planet, but there's only one you. that you're in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. And everyone wants that all the time. Like images of paradise are representations of that state of being. So it's there for you, but there are preconditions that you strive to aim at the best. And that has to be your fundamental ethos. And it's a decision that, despite all of the calamities of being, that your primary ethical obligation is to work for the betterment of yourself and others. The fact is, death is inescapable. There is no way out. And death is part of life. And like the contrast between the darkness and the light, without death, then there is no life. Then the people that I've lost, they taught me that. They taught me how precious life is, how blessed we are to have every day, to learn and to grow and to laugh and to live. You've got to dream. Don't lose your dreams. For yourself, for your future, for your family, the dreams of love and enterprise and travel and doing things, becoming something unique on your journey here. Don't lose your dreams. Do some dreaming. You might find confidence in yourself. If you don't know who yourself is, you won't find confidence in yourself if you're so busy trying to figure out what everybody around you thinks you ought to be and then match that, because you're not going to make people around you happy. You're not going to. Okay? So you need to be you. To live every day with purpose and with passion. To wake up in the morning and be thankful. Thankful for that morning and thankful for the opportunity to go out into the world and live. To live for them. For those that don't have the opportunity, for those that were stolen away by death's cruel hand. So what is possible and what is not possible is not your business. That is nature's business. Nature will decide that. You just see what is it that you really want and strive for that. And if your thought is created in a powerful way, without any negativity, without any negative thoughts, bringing down the intensity of the thought process, the first and foremost thing is you must be clear what is it that you really want. If you do not know what you want, the question of creating it doesn't arise. If you look at what you really want, what every human being wants is, he wants to live joyfully, he wants to live peacefully. In terms of its relationships, he wants it to be loving and affectionate. Or in other words, all that any human being is seeking for is pleasantness within himself, pleasantness around him. But let's not dwell. Instead, let's laugh and let's love and let's embrace and cherish everything that life is and every opportunity it gives us. Live. It's your unlimited desires that are clouding your peace, your happiness. Every desire you have is an access where you will suffer. So just don't focus on more than one desire at a time. The universe is rigged in such a way that if you just want one thing and you focus on that, you'll get it. But everything else, you gotta let go. And that life is meaningless. It was not a flippant assertion. I think it's absurd. The idea of seeking meaning in the set of circumstances that happens to exist after 13.8 billion years worth of unguided events. Leave it to humans to think the universe has a purpose for them. However, I am no nihilist. I'm not even a cynic. I am actually rather romantic. And here's my idea of romance. Life will sometimes seem long and tough and God, it's tiring. And you will sometimes be happy and sometimes sad, and then you'll be old, and then you'll be dead. There is only one sensible thing to do with this empty existence, and that is fill it. Fill it. And in my opinion, until I change it, life is best filled by learning as much as you can about as much as you can, taking pride in whatever you're doing, having compassion, sharing ideas, running, being enthusiastic. And then there's love and travel and wine and art and kids and giving and mountain climbing. But you know all that stuff already. It's an incredibly exciting thing, this one meaningless life of yours. Life was always giving you a test, trying to give you a way out, trying to give you an excuse not to show up. This is my excuse today. But guess what? You gotta have the mentality to show up every fucking day of your life. No matter what life throws at you, I don't care what you're going through, what life's throwing at you. It's your responsibility to find a new 100%. Everything is happening to you as God is processing. Every difficult moment you're having, He's just processing it. That's all He's doing. Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. And if you need to be tough when you get to where you're going, then He gonna toughen you. If you gotta be more caring along the way, He don't let you have some trials come your way that's gonna have to produce that in. You are on the path. You want to stay on the path. Unfortunately, the opposite is also true. Once you step off the path, you tend to stray far. When you don't prepare what we need to do the next day, when you sleep in and then skip your workout, you don't start attacking the tasks that you have because you didn't write them down the night before, that is when you make bad decisions. That is when your will and discipline fail. Stop telling your visions to other people because they're not going to see it, because God is talking to you. He's showing you something that He has for you. There will be people who will see your talents, your time, your abilities, all those gifts that you have, and they will want to take advantage of it. But you've got to be careful. Protect your gift. Realize that your gift is something that you can't waste. You have to learn to look at yourself and find the value and then put value to it every day. It increases. Every day that you survive, every day that you learn something, you increase in your value. Don't get settled for a job. It's your dreams, your aspirations. Keep chipping away at them. And by parent yourself, I mean it's your job to make yourself do the crap you don't want to do so you can be everything that you're supposed to be. And you're so damn busy waiting to feel like it. and you're never going to. You could change, you should change, you won't change. That's called accumulated resentment. Could, should, and will. You can start this whole process, and if you will, then put it into action. The miracle belongs to you. Because self-control is a power. In fact, it's a superpower. Once you have that, you have everything you need to succeed. Just don't get comfortable. Just don't get settled. Get hungry. Discipline, habits, and self-control. Well, you shouldn't be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful. But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. You're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. You might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. It's like, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking. And if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older. Get on the path of discipline and stay on the path. Discipline begets discipline. Will propagates more will. No one's coming. No one. No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to turn the TV off. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise. Nobody's coming to tell you to apply for that job that you've always dreamt about. And because you're only ever going to do the things that you feel like doing right now or that feel good right now, unless you understand, you push yourself, you're not going to make your dreams come true. That as you go through the challenges of life, and you look at it and embrace whatever comes to you, don't run from it. Step toward it. Don't try and duck it like most people do. See, most people want it easy. See, if you easy come, easy what? Easy go. See, but when you go at what you're going to deal with and you deal with the difficulties of it, when you handle those hard things close at hand, making those hard decisions right now that you don't want to make, learning those things that you don't like to do, but you know that in order for you to get where you want to go, this is one of the hoops that you have to flip through. And I'm saying to you, whatever you gotta do, do it. Because if you don't, life is gonna whoop you until you surrender. Think strategic all the time. Before any action or any inaction, ask yourself this question. Is this action going to make me stronger or weaker? Will this action move me toward the strategic long-term goals I am trying to achieve in my life? And do not lie to yourself. You have to tell yourself the truth. And the truth is, you have time. You have the skill. You have the knowledge and the support and the willpower and the discipline to get it done. Feelings aren't a choice. Your behavior and your thoughts are always a choice. It's only natural to wonder, what do I do now? And listen, everyone, I went to school, I got good grades, I dedicated myself. Will this mean I'll automatically be successful? Will a job come to me, look for me, give me the opportunity, I'll walk in, and will it be fulfilling? No. If all you're doing is waiting for a door to open up, you've made a mistake. You got to grab it by the hinges and rip it off and open up doors yourself. You've got to desire more than a paycheck. You've got to enter into a workplace with a mindset that I came to make an impact to it. I came to find my meaning, my purpose, to follow my passion. Because to not make a decision, it also has a cost. And sometimes the cost of not making a decision is far worse than the cost of making a decision, even if the decision is risky. And so one of the things you can derive from that, and this is very useful, I think, is that contemplate your mortality, so to speak. You're screwed no matter what you do. And that actually frees you, is that you have path A that has catastrophes, and you have path B that has catastrophes, and you don't get to have the no catastrophe path, but you get to pick which one. And that's really something, because if you know that there's terrible risk associated with everything that you do and don't do, then you can afford to take some risks. Despite the fact that your life is essentially catastrophic, you can make a covenant with the highest ideal, and that will take you through it the best way possible. We aren't happy because we're living in a time that is done. We aren't happy because we're trying to change something that can't be changed. We aren't happy because we're still hoping and wishing things can go back to how they used to be and how they were. It is impossible to move forward with your life. It's impossible to move on with your life if you are still trying to recreate something and go back to a time that is done. In a life of what we're doing, we're hoping and praying to bring things back in our life that aren't good for us. Everybody on the face of this planet wants something. From California to Boston to New York to Atlanta to Florida, you can go to somebody and say, hey man, what do you want? Man, I want this. I want a house for my family. I want this much money in the bank. I want a question in my... Everybody wants something. It's like that quote that says, everybody wants to win, but everybody doesn't have the will to prepare to win. Everybody wants the victory, right? Everybody wants it, right? The question that changed, it was no longer about what do you want. Now it's about what are you willing to go through in order to get it. Your dreams are too big, too important, too valuable, too impactful in the lives of others for you to just You gotta believe that there's some reason you're approaching. You are not a work. You are not to follow the path that is pre-programmed by others. You're supposed to look at the script and rewrite the ending the way you want. There's more to what you've been called to do than acceptance. You've come to make a disturbance into the atmosphere. The earth should know that there's something different about your run. I would say that not only you want to stop being scared to do that thing that you don't know if you can do or not, but you know what you got to do is you got to start taking the steps now. Because when you're 18 years old, your life seems like it's going to last forever. And I will tell you right now, it's not going to last forever. And those years go by like a summer's day. And the next thing you know, you look up and you're 36 years old, or you're 44 years old. And that time's gone. You cannot get it back. You cannot get time back. So those dreams that you have, those goals that you have, don't put them off another second. Not 1 second. Get on them. And go out and make them happen starting right now. Happiness is not an external thing, it's an inside job. Stop depending on things outside of you to make you happy. Stop depending on things outside of you to give you peace. Stop depending on things outside of you to give you joy. Stop depending on things outside of you to make you love yourself. Those things are an inside job. Happiness comes from within. You shouldn't be dependent on something or someone to give you something that you should be giving yourself. Because you are different. You're so uniquely different that there is absolutely nothing like you to ever be born unless you've decided to carbon copy yourself after someone else. You gotta get up. You got to desire, you got to justify the reason why you were given all these gifts. And the only way to do it is you got to put yourself through the grind. You got to find out if I go through the fires of life, will I come out as gold? Or is everything that I'm made of wood, stubble, and hay? Am I only standing because others have held me up? Or have I gotten a backbone that everything that I've gone through have made me strong and firmer? because they've already said no to themselves. See, it's time now. If you want to make this your decade, you've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams, yes to your unfolding future, yes to your potential. As opposed to saying no, see, 87% of our self-talk is negative. So you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to say yes to your dreams. Why not? Why not me? Don't spend time like most people going through life complaining. You have to realize you are one of a kind. Do something with it. Become something with it. Stand out in such a way that there is a legacy. And that legacy is a thing that lingers, so that your children can look up to you and admire. You got to think about, if this is the last play, this is my senior year, this is it for me. Will you leave that legacy? Will anyone ever remember that you were number 36, 44, or whatever your number was? Will they know that your name? Will they know that your name mattered? The name on the front is the team. The name on the back is you. What will you become? What legacy will you leave? What matters most to you in life? It ought to be about legacy. It ought to be about making sure that you became more with what you had than anyone thought possible.